Go ahead and adjust your body if you need to change your position. Something that can let some blood flow if your any body parts fell asleep. Sometimes my leg does, or wiggle your butt around a little bit, your back. Just let your body move into blood flow in different positions. Sometimes holding that position can feel a little bit stiff. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. Tonight's Dharma talk is about the Sensei. And the pillar of the Sensei in my methodology of the Dojo, the three areas that I want to look at tonight are self-inquiry, being a student, and then being a mentor or teacher or leader. And these three qualities, I feel, are the essence of what it means to be a sensei, or embodying the pillar of the sensei. The four pillars of the dojo are the monk, the sage, the samurai, and the sensei. And so this is that fourth pillar that we've been going through and looking at the monk as ground zero of how you set up your world, the habits that serve you and maybe the habits that don't, and what does that look like to be truthful and honest and brutally honest to yourself. And then the sage, to be willing to have a vision for yourself that may stretch you beyond what you think is possible. And then the samurai, the willingness that it's not all about drawing your sword. It's about decisive action from the place of stillness and silence, and moving from that place of your hara, or that lower part of your abdomen that can guide you, known as gut instinct or your core self or your center. And so then moving into the sensei. And the first part of the sensei I'd like to start with is the self-inquiry. Is that as the pillar of the sensei, through sitting in zazen or seated meditation, it's truly a self-inquiry about how your thoughts and your thinking works, and not being attached or driven by them. And so as a sensei and as someone that is in constant refinement of my life and embodying what it's like to live an authentic and true and clear, upright, postured life. And so that self-inquiry is constant refinement of failure and success, and I'm number one good at failure, and I work on success. And so the encouragement to constantly self-improve is that pillar of that sensei. And we all have the sensei in us. That's an innate part of ourselves. It's the willingness to activate or be conscious enough to say, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do my best and apply myself at my fullest. You know, I have a belief that most people are showing up at about 40% of their potential and capacity. So just to think about that, of like people going through their day and they're operating from a very comfortable position or way of being, and to really step into that pillar of that sensei is to really show up and be present and aware in all your relations to yourself, to your spiritual practice, to your body, to, like I said, your relationships, and then your work and your legacy. And that's not an easy ask. That's not something light, and I know it. I struggle with it and practice at it regularly. So that first piece of self-inquiry, of the energy of the sensei, or the pillar of the sensei. Then the second piece in that is the willingness to be a sensei and be a student, and to have mentors or mentorship in constantly learning and evolving through others that can show you different parts of yourself or different ways of being that can really have you improve and enhance how you show up as a leader, as a teacher, as a mentor, and constantly be refining that through other people's mentorship and guidance. Because you're never too old or never too young to always be learning. And so the sensei is always willing and humble enough to be the student. It's an important one to really never think that you know all the answers. It's one of the biggest traps of leadership and being a sensei, being a mentor, is that I have all the answers and I don't need any help or any support. As soon as I do that, I've stepped out of that energy of sensei or mentor or leader. So being the student, an essential part of the sensei energy and pillar. And then the third one is being the teacher, the mentor, the guide that puts your energy into other people from that place of devoted and caring and willingness to give away yourself from that place of service, from not expecting anything in return. I think the mentorship that AA offers a lot of people, that you exemplify that. You sponsor people. I know you do. That's that sensei pillar and quality that really is giving away of yourself to see the best in others. And that's what the sensei does. I see the best in all of you and I want the best for all of you, even if you don't believe it yourself. And people say, man, I feel something different around you, Tony. And it's because I'm looking at you from that king and queen and king and queen and king energy of that of like, or the sensei in all of you. That I hold that and say, yes, they are exactly like me. That's why I do the Sangha. That's why I do my men's work. That's why I show up the way that I do, is in order to really give away myself in the selfless act of service. And it's such a cool thing to be in this circle right now and say, I feel that from all of you. I mean, me and Sonny go back a long way in the dance that me and him have had over the decades of going on a decade and a half, almost 2 decades of student teacher. It's like that's the exemplifying of sensei. So I encourage all of you to own the pillar of the sensei inside yourself, to really show up from that place that is from the practice of stillness and silence. I'm more aware and present than I've ever been, and I train at it every single day. I start my day out with stillness and silence, and I sit and I watch my thoughts go crazy or sometimes go nice and smooth, but a lot of times I got the neurodivergent brain that's really active, and so I get to say, oh, that's not who I am. I get to really own that I am, divine sensei energy. I'm one with the universe, one with God, and I'm connected to everything. And then show up and be in all my relations like that, and especially with my partner and love of my life. It works. My relationship has never been so deep as it been, from me owning my practice. And then I get to, be a part of our community of, 95% are from the sauna and the gym. I mean, I'm so blessed to be in relationship with all of you, and my next door neighbor, right? Me and Lorenzo, we have some really great talks, and I learn a lot from him, and so I feel we're all doing that. And I've always dreamed and called forward this type of community in my life. And so I'm living the dream with that. Pinch myself. It's a beautiful thing. So I call that forward. I see it all in you, the pillar of the sensei. So as you sit with that embodied, this last 10 minutes, sit with that embodied energy and pillar of the Sensei, of that you are that teacher, you are that mentor, you are that self-inquiry person that can really evaluate how you show up, and you are a student. Because I see it in all of you, and I honor it, I get the wisdom from you, and I feel it reciprocal, and that's just priceless to me. So honor the Sensei within you, and I acknowledge the Sensei in all of you, and the pillar of the Sensei. Okay? So thank you again for being here. Thanks for showing up in my life the way you do. I'm honored to be in relationship with you and continually getting to know all of you better. It's like you haven't ever left, and you're here 2 to 3 months out of the year. It's just such a cool bond to connect with you on this level. So, and all of you, thank you for showing up for me. All right? Andrew, that haircut's amazing. Yeah, I'm really, really excited about that. And anybody else who wants to shave their head, we could have a nice evening of head shaving. Just saying, Dexter. All right. So as we wrap up, I always like to remind you that all my Dharma talks and sanghas, or the full meditation hour, I upload them to YouTube so that you can, if you want to sit in community, you can sit with us also when you're not available for it on YouTube at Tony Benici-Dojo X.